Yes, guys, welcome back to another episode of Pick Chasers. I think this is episode 12. By all means, as we say, guys, please do hit our YouTube channel. Please do check it out. More importantly, please do click that subscribe button right there to check into all of our latest technical analysis. Also, as you know, I am up on TradingView. Please do follow the links to the website or download the app to get my technical analysis on a week-by-week basis, where you guys can check it out in comparison to your trading biases. Let's get to the fun stuff. So for myself personally, what I've been doing is over the past few weeks is really taking into consideration how much I'm journaling and going through my notepad, going through my FX book and seeing what pairs I'm excelling in since I've started trading full stop. So coming up to 2 years now, and I've narrowed it down to 3 specific pairs that I seem to excel on since I've started trading. Now, that could have been a case of reading through my journal and seeing that I'm all over certain pairs, and come the end of the week when I'm updating my journal, that trade's banging for me or that pair's banging for me. Or it could be on the flip side and going over to my FX book. Again, it gives you an online snapshot of all your trading history from your, for example, your MetaTrader 4 or your broker account, and it kind of gives it you in a nice analysis and chart format. Now, I've been able to narrow that down to 3 pairs: EURCAD, USDJPY, GBPUSD. Now, GBPUSD, I think naturally I was more drawn to from when I very first started trading, just because it's the pound against the dollar. Now, for me, GBPUSD, K1, for me, was one of the most common pairs for me to start learning on. Since day one, I've always looked at that pair and I've always enjoyed trading that pair. USDJPY, again, out of all the US pairs, in particular, I do like to keep my eye on the DXY. Therefore, looking at the USDJPY, again, that was one that I was most active on, I should say. And when it came to USDJPY, it was one of those pairs that I kind of knew off the back of my hand. I kind of knew if someone said USDJPY, I'd be saying 108.999 or 107.5. I knew the price action off the back of my hand, and when you know your currency pair, it does kind of help. You know the flows of the currency pair, you know how quick the currency pair moves, you know how much pip swings you're looking for. That was one of those pairs I was looking at. Now, naturally, one pair that I totally, not forgot about, but didn't pay much attention to for good reason was EURCAD. Now, looking back at my FX book, let's take a look at the stats. So, just a quick snapshot of EURCAD. As you can see, traded it for around 2 months. Now, naturally, down the right-hand side, on my pips, excluding the Euro Aussie dollar at the top, but naturally, over the, give or take, not counting off the top of my head, 15 trades, we should say, most successful pair for me in regards to a Euro instance. So from that, I did kind of take a second look into EURCAD at the start of last week, attack that pair, gain some pips that we'll talk about, and some future pips that I'm looking for in the near future. Right, let's get into it. EURCAD, why am I back on this pair? What do I see on this pair? So I'm looking at the monthly time frame. So I did have to really dissect this pair because, again, it's been about 3-4 months since I analysed this pair. The reasons why I took my eye off this market was just due to a lot of choppy work, a lot of consolidation in the periods just before summer. Now, if I show you this area here, you can see quite clearly a lot of consolidation. Now, for me, I'm not about trading those sideways markets to an extent. I'm more of a swing trader. That's the way I've taught myself how to trade. And this currency pair from look at that, from March all the way up until July was stuck within the consolidation range. Now took my eye off that currency pair, moved on, looked for another currency pair. But according to my stats, pretty good on this currency pair. I know how to read this market. Why not have a second look now that we're out of that consolidation range? Now, again, back to the monthly time frame, I will always like to do a bit of top-down analysis. Let's see how this pair is working. So for me personally, I'm going to talk you through a few confluences in regards to my bias over the next week or so. Now, from what I could see, when I revisited this currency pair on the 1st of September, therefore this candle was non-existent. So for example, let me just remove this. Okay, cool. So when I reviewed this pair, guys, the currency pair looked as it is now. So literally talking with the trend line extension, I then drew on an extension on the monthly time frame. I like to do my monthly time frame trend lines in blue. Obviously, naturally, you need 2 points to create a trend line extension. Point 1, point 2, extend it off. Now, as you can see, at the end of August, I had a gravestone doji. So naturally, to me, it kind of shows indecisiveness in the market, maybe looking for possible trend reversal. It's just an indication of slowdown of momentum, not a trend reversal. Slight indication. So something that I was wary about. So for me personally, I knew that naturally the pair might be slowing down. In all fairness, I might be looking for that third trend line touch before perhaps bouncing back to the upside. As you can see, literally if I press the start of the month, boom. As we see, the price did drop down. We'll go down to the weekly time frame to show you that. And we've kind of had a rejection of that monthly trend line, and we've started to push back up. Now in pink, on my weekly time frame, we'll put a weekly trend line, and let's talk about that in a bit more detail. Okay, so zooming into the area that's more of concern. So the end of last month, we had this Marubozu candle here, which created that monthly gravestone doji. Therefore, off this weekly Marubozu formation, or apologies, off this weekly bearish engulfing, which also classed as a tweezer top, I knew that for perhaps the start of September, we would perhaps be looking to go further down before the reversal that the gravestone doji was indicating in the monthly time frame. So it's week 1 of September, I was trading it short off this weekly bearish engulfing. Now, we had, boom, we had a touch of the trend line on a closure last week. And then as you can see, this week, which we'll go into a bit more detail, had the rejection, and then we shot straight back up. Now, let me go down to the daily time frame to talk you through some biases for myself. Okay, guys, now we're on the daily time frame. Now, talking about the higher time frame candles, again, this candle here was where the gravestone doji ended, completing the end of August. Now, I entered short as I knew that naturally on a weekly time frame, we've seen bears before we saw any monthly bulls or reversals. So I entered short at the closure on the 4th of September down to the monthly trend line here. Now, as you can see, we had some sideways movement, some indecisiveness in the market, and then I think we had some euro, was it interest rate on Thursday or Wednesday? This week, we had some indecisiveness where we had manipulation spikes to the downside, but then again, rejecting, pushing down any further, monthly trend line, I should say, acting as a strong resistance on the daily time frame, pushing price back up. Now, as you can see here, guys, we've had 2 extensions to the upside to a level of 14713. Now, for me, guys, I'm always trying to educate myself and always trying to critique myself. And you can never be perfect, but you can aim to be perfect. That's the way I see it. Now, during this week, I was looking for the bulls to the upside, as my technical analysis was telling me. In fairness, if you can read the price, the chart is trying to tell you something. Now, naturally for myself, where I could see myself, now for myself, okay guys, so for EURCAD in particular, I decided to post an article last week, I think it was last Wednesday. Now naturally, as you can see here, I was expecting that long trade here. Now for myself personally, where I wanted to critique myself is unfortunately, I got stop lossed out on this pair due to the manipulation spikes from the economic data. Now, writing down in my journal this weekend, I would have said, check the fundamentals perhaps before entering long. anything that could perhaps manipulate the spike to go, the price to go down, negative news, which I think we did have for the euro, which then would have added liquidity to the market before pushing the price to the upside. Now, once I press play, you'll see what's happened to myself. Okay, perfect. So as you can see, my target hit perfectly. However, I was stop lost out on the 12th of September. Now, when that happened, guys, you can either sit there and fucking cry like a baby, lost pips, lost money, regardless. But if your risk reward is correct and your risk management is on point, it should be minimal losses. Now, I didn't just sit on my hands and not react to the market. I knew that price was going to move in the next 2 days, coming into the close of play. I re-entered. So I re-entered on the daily key level, within this liquidity zone, I call it here, where all these wicks are. So in the daily resistance, daily support, we've got this 145. So when price went back into 145, I entered long and managed to catch my 170 plus pips. So taking one small loss, but then counteracting it with jumping back into the market to hit my target at the close of play on Friday. Perfect resistance line, hit to the fucking T. Okay, so moving forward, going into next week, guys, as you can see from a weekly perspective, we've got a nice bullish engulfing candle, just closing above that EMA moving average. Go back to the daily. What I'm expecting is if we don't get resistance around this level here, it depends on what the price wants to do. So if we go down to some execution zones, and if I was just to put some daily key levels in here, so we know we're at this strong daily resistance here. What I'd be looking for is perhaps what price wants to do next. It may want to consolidate, bounce off the weekly, or it may want to close up or push up, retest it, and then continue to the upside. So naturally, this area here for me is pivotal. Literally Monday morning, Sunday night, it could just literally shoot up, or it could slow down in momentum, react off this daily key level, and bounce off 14627. Now, for me personally, I'm going to wait and sit on my hands to see what's going to happen next. But my overall bias for the end of the week, apologies, we'll get rid of that, is for this pair to go long. Now, long to where? So I'm looking for this monthly resistance to be hit. Reason being, I've got a daily descending trend line, and I'm looking for a third touch. I'm looking for a bounce off this grey trend line. I'm also looking for a weekly trend line touch. Now, what you'd realize on a weekly time frame, we would have had a trend line break, retest. Now, there's a trend line there. We had the trend line break. We've had a retest. We've come down to we've had the continuation from the retest. Now we've hit another resistance, which is a monthly. Now I'll be looking for a retest of the weekly resistance. Again, it's a nice key level for myself personally. It acts around a monthly resistance of 14882. It acts around a weekly resistance. It acts around a daily trend line resistance. For myself personally, that would be my next target of 148,823. Now, guys, for you guys that tune in on my trading view, you would have had that target given to you a few days ago, about 5 days ago. But again, we're multi-platform, guys. So if you didn't see it on the trading view app, that's what I'm here for on YouTube. Okay, so all depends on what the price wants to do before pushing to the upside. That's my personal opinion. Okay. Which one should I give you? USDJPY or the cable? You know what? I'm going to give you both. Weekly time frame. Let's start with USDJPY. So as you can see, guys, we've got 2 monthly resistances that price has been working within for a considerable amount of time now, since 2017. Okay, let's get rid of that. Now, as you can see, 3 weeks ago, we had a nice tap of the monthly resistance at 10475. Now, we've had the trend line break. Now, I'm looking for that retest of this trend line break. Now, we're at the bottom of the zone as well. As you can see here, multiple occasions. We do like to bounce back up and at least touch that weekly resistance. As you can see, price has already started to move 2 consecutive weeks to the upside. Now, if you guys was following me on TradingView, we also had this chart up for you guys, ready to and annotated for you to enter this market. Now, our first resistance zone was this trend line, this daily trend line, and wanted to see what happens around this trend line before continuing to the upside, perhaps. Now, boom, as you can see, perfect. We had a doji on Friday's closure on this trend line, so we may see a pullback before any more balls to the upside. Now, let's take a look at the daily chart on as we speak today. Now, what we could get, again, is two instances. We may get a slowdown, like that, for example. We may get that, which continues going into that. Okay, so I have two biases on this pair at the minute, 10962 or back down to 106,500. Okay, for myself personally, I am waiting to see what price does towards the start of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I would like to see a slowdown in momentum. I would like to see a retracement. As you can see, we broke out the consolidation zone. You could say we've practically duplicated the size of this consolidation zone. This should be a bit wider. So if we were to do it from here, for example, copy and paste that width, place it on the other side from the breakout. You could say we've almost duplicated the size of the consolidation zone it's broke out of between here and here. So charts move in waves. Charts are psychological about charts. So yeah, charts, they do move. So again, there's millions of people monitoring these charts. Charts do move in synchronized steps. Now, for myself personally, I do want to see price pull back down so I can get some liquidity, get some more buyers in the market to push it back towards the upside. As you can see from the weekly perspective, we are looking bullish. We are being held, let me just remove this, apologies. We are being held by a SMA currently at the minute, therefore may put pressure to get the sellers back in the market. Now, looking at the execution timeframes, like the 4-hour timeframes, as you can see, we're getting a bit of consolidation now at that resistance area on the trend line. We are sitting on top of the blue EMA. For myself, I want to see perhaps a closure underneath the SMA before perhaps taking any trades on the retracement. If you do want to be aggressive, trade that retracement towards the start of the week if it does come, and then look for bullish targets to the upside with a good risk reward. So naturally, you could either do one like this, depending what price, how price reacts on this key daily resistance here. We could start to see dojis and the bullish engulf in the morning star, for example, a hammer, or we could get a deeper retracement back towards the resistance zone or the consolidation zone that we just broke out of, and we could have a deeper, greater risk reward back to that weaker resistance, like that, for example. So you could get that nice 2.7 to 1, or you could get 2.7 to 1 again, but from a higher daily resistance. All about reading the price and what the price wants to do on the intraday level and ultimately at the end of daily closures. Okay. If you do want to throw in another confluence, get a Fibonacci retracement zone in and use these as retracement zones for perhaps trigger entries or look for resistance areas, and also price action trend reversals to perhaps move towards your D1 targets around the weekly resistance, the weekly key level, which is turquoise, and the weekly trend line, which is the trend line. Right. Last but not least, good old cable, good old Boris. Man like Boris shaking up shit. So, as you can see, we reached all-time lows again for within the last decade. Oh shit. Again, massive bearish market since the start of last year, give or take April last year. And we've just been trending, swinging high, swinging low since April 2018. After reaching some decent all-time lows of 119.67. For myself personally, I did have that trend line that I was looking to hold as resistance. I know when Boris was throwing some madness in the news in regards to shutting down Parliament, which he has, added some volatility to the market, pushing price down the start of 2 weeks ago before price closed back up above this monthly support. So as you can see, moving what's happened in October 2016, 2017, January, we're now trying to push back up towards a monthly support. Now, this week, I think yesterday was a very, very strong day for the pound. There you go, breaking out of its resistance and pushing to the upside. So if I show you guys here, boom, 125 psychological level, price managed to push up towards the upside, coming out of this weekly to monthly range. Now, what can I see next for this pair? What I would like to see, guys, is this EMA keep pushing the price up its backside. Now, what I would like to see moving into the next week is more bulls. So I would want to mirror what happened in 2017, 16, 17, and tap this monthly resistance at 126.97. So call it 127. 127 is where I want to see the pound next. Meets up with a daily trend line, monthly resistance, price is pushing to the upside. I might get a bit of retracement on lower time frames, perhaps retesting my weekly resistance. So if I was to put a daily resistance zone in here, I might get something like this. So again, not just jumping straight into the market after a massive bullish day. All these rookie traders are going to jump straight in, perhaps may get lucky and might shoot straight back up. But the big boys in the market would know that guys are looking to buy at the top of ranges and then just pull price back and lose all your money. So I would be looking perhaps to see what goes on the start of Monday, going into the evening of Monday, before entering long or waiting for the retracement, perhaps to the weekly resistance, as I said here. For me, it's a good key level, and then pushing price up towards this upside for 300 pip target. So that's perhaps what I'm looking for on sterling. Can I say we could be pushing any further up? I don't know. At this moment, I wouldn't be looking for any breakouts of this trend line. If anything, I'd be looking for new lows. I've been looking for new lows simply due to Brexit. I think Brexit, it's something that we've never experienced in our lives. So it's going to affect the pound in some sort of way. It's going to be a lot of manipulation. Brexit is October 31st. Oh, we never know. But as you can see, guys, again, from a weekly perspective, having that hammer and having a Marabozu, for me personally, I can see the pair pushing higher. Perhaps maybe to the weekly resistance here at 128, but definitely 127. May get some retracement towards the start of the week. Guys, thank you very much. Stay pipping, stay safe. Thank you.